Do you think the U.S. should treat China as an enemy?
No.
Would you say China is ripping the U.S. off?
这个倒没有吧。
No, it's globalization.
No, because that's the way market economy runs.
I think neither of the countries should look at the other one as an enemy.
I don't think it should treat China as an enemy. It's whoever finishes the race first, they should be the one who wins the race.
我觉得最大的误解，首先是意识形态上的误解。中国也有自己的道路要走，我们从来没有说，美国的发展模式和美国的发展道路是不对的或者不好的。
Nobody wants that trade crisis for a longer time.
We want cheaper TVs, we want cheaper cars. Everybody wants to live high on the hog, but nobody wants to give up what they've got.
There's no either side that need to be stronger and take over the other. So they should be just coexist.
If his goal is to make our economy grow, then he should understand that that requires collaboration from other countries as well.
我相信这个寒冬总会过去，这个中美未来也会有更好的发展。We're all the same. We're all just trying to get through the one day so we can go on to the next day to bring our children up.
I really like talking with my friends from China and seeing what we have in common.
People on the streets have a lot to say about the China-U.S. relationship because it matters and it's in tough times. So I sat down with 3 leading experts at Harvard University to clear things up and take the long view.
China is not the U.S.'s enemy, but I think there is quite a bit of impetus in the U.S. leadership that thinks of China as an enemy.
We have a lot to gain from making sure our competition doesn't become so severe that we miscalculate into violent conflict, and also that we don't forego the areas where we have a lot to gain from cooperation.
The people in Washington, I think at the White House, have very little understanding of China. There is very little interest in the details and very little interest in the understanding of what is going on in China.
We have to accept the fact that the Chinese power will rise, and we're going to have to accommodate that.
We're too big and we're too interconnected. The speed of information around the world and the speed of cargo and the speed of air travel means that we're so connected, and some of the ideas of the Trump administration to disconnect are impossible.
I think that Wang Yi was right. This idea of decoupling is a big mistake.
It's impossible.
Too late.
Again, your words. But the costs are unthinkable. What I think more rational voices are calling.
China and the U.S. would get agreements. We'd agree on what would be certain new rules of the game and so forth.
If China was ripping the U.S. off, we would stop doing business with China. As American companies are still signing the deal, they see the advantages outweighing the disadvantages.
The view in Washington that had been advertised is that there was a consensus that we must be much tougher on China. There's not such a consensus. There are many of us still who believe that we must get along with China and find a way to work with China.
We're not going to destroy the Chinese system. Nobody has illusions about that. China will work out its own internal system in its own way.
I think I'm optimistic for 2 reasons. The first has to do with the economic upside of engaging with China. The second is that I think the U.S. is going to have to, in the long run, recognize and accept its global responsibilities.
I'd like to see more exchanges of people. When you have more opportunities for people to get to know each other, then you reduce some of these hard edges of mistrust and fear of the other side.
It's very important for all of us who care about good relations with China to work to do what we can to improve them.
Climate change is an example, but international financial stability, developing a stable international trading system, dealing with problems of pandemics and global health issues, all these are areas where we have much to gain by cooperating with each other.
One of the important things about my experience living with a Chinese family is to realize that ultimately what is the same about us is far more than what's different about us.
Last one, like it's
Okay.
really easy one. Would you like to say anything to your old friends in Fujian or Wuhan?
OK， 我向我跟中国快40年的来往的一些朋友、同学、老师们问好，非常想你们，希望今后不久，能再次碰面。
Now that I have plenty of food for thought, I might as well have some food. And what could possibly be better than roasted duck for a Chinese stomach?
It's kind of brought the classic Chinese dining, upscale dining to New York. It's been very hard to break that mentality of what Americans think of Chinese food, but we've done a good job of getting our guests to understand.
Well, my question is, will food be the beginning of the end of all misunderstandings? See you next time.